All right, here we go. These are my favorite dramas. I'm excluding a lot of shit from this list. Anything that's I consider to be an artsy movie, like, say, Pie or Magnolia or The Fountain. Any of those, like, artsy kind of movies, I'm excluding. Any war movie, I'm excluding. Any boxing or fighting movie, I'm excluding. Any like lesser known hipster kind of movie, I'm excluding. These are like the mainstream dramas that stuck in my head. I just sat there thinking, what are some of my favorite dramas? These are what came up. I'm not doing any crime movies like LA Noire or Reservoir Dogs. I'm going to do a separate list for crime movies. These are my mainstream dramas that have stuck in my head. Here are the tiers. GOAT, greatest of all time. There's only going to be one that goes there. Rent free. These are the movies that live rent free in my head that will always be there. Something in the movie stuck in my head and it's just there forever. Jaw dropping. These are the dramas that have a scene that you just can't believe fucking happened. And it will also live rent free in your head, but it's in a different fashion. It's in a shocking, jarring fashion. TNT. We know drama. This is the TNT slogan. We know drama, as if everyone else doesn't know drama. These are the kind of movies that you would see on TNT over and over and over again, like a rerun that just goes on TNT. TNT is what I'm gonna say instead of TNT over and over. I just kind of think it's funny. TNT, we love drama. All you young cats out there ain't gonna know what the heck I'm talking about because we know drama was way back when people used to watch something called television before streaming was a thing. And these little TV programs like TNT, they'd throw their little slogan in before you start watching the show. You know, we know drama. It's not like beans and cornbread kind of shit. Anyway, profound. These are the movies that have a profound message, or they seemed profound to me at the time. All right, let's get started. Children of Men. Fantastic movie. I'm putting this in the profound. This is a show about a world where getting pregnant is no longer possible, and this guy finds the last pregnant person, and his job is to protect it. And that's it. It goes through like a apocalyptic world where no one has a reason to live because we can no longer breed, and they're all just waiting to slowly die out. Parasite. Parasite is a fantastic South Korean movie. I am gonna put this one at jaw dropping. I'm gonna put this at profound as well. This is also a very profound film. The disparities between the rich and poor people in South Korea in this film is profound. It's also jaw dropping. It's also we know drama. Actually, it's probably not we know drama. It's not safe enough for that. Schindler's List. Schindler's List will forever be either jaw dropping or rent. I think it's living rent free in my mind. I really enjoyed this movie. The fact that it was a bad person doing what he could in a bad situation to help people while still being bad. I mean, that's a tight line to walk. And it's a great movie. Legends of the Fall goes into the TNT We Know drama. I could have put basically all the 90s Brad Pitt movies, but I stuck to just a couple. I'm going to put them both in the exact same category. Legends of the Falls, River Runs Through It, two Brad Pitt movies that are absolutely spectacular. But they are like cookie cutter dramas that go right into the TNT We Know drama. I love both of these movies. Both of these movies kind of remind me of my childhood. I did a lot of fishing. I did a lot of badassery. Now I'm a fucking computer nerd who sits at a desk, but that's a different story. All right. Shawshank Redemption. Where is this going? Oh, this is going GOAT. My favorite movie of all time, Shawshank Redemption. It could also go into TNT We Know drama, but since it's my favorite movie of all time, it's going right here to GOAT. This movie is absolutely spectacular. The catharsis of him escaping at the end is all of these combined. It lives rent free in my mind. It's jaw dropping. TNT knows drama. It's profound, and it goes right into the goat. 7 pounds. This is jaw dropping. I love this movie. I had a kidney transplant at age 21, and this guy did some shit, killed some people, and he's gonna kill himself. So it's a fun little suicide movie where he decides, instead of killing himself, just like a little bitch, he gives 7 pounds of his organs to random strangers to save 7 lives, to make up for 7 lives that he took. Very jaw dropping, also profound, but I found it jaw dropping that he actually fucking killed himself and gave his parts away. There will be blood. Oh man, it's not really jaw dropping. It's just absolutely amazing. I need just another category for amazing. It doesn't really live rent free in my. Actually, it does live rent free in my mind. The bowling alley scene lives rent free in my mind. I'm gonna throw this into profound. This movie is spectacular about this oil baron who lives through some of the hardest times in America and basically sucks up a bunch of oil, becomes rich and powerful, and does it through greed and just aggressive masculinity. It's spectacular. Dazed and Confused. One could maybe call this a comedy, but I'm putting this right into the We Know drama. This is just a fantastic period piece of the 70s. It's actually absolutely great. I love this movie. It goes right in here. TNT, We Know drama. Fight Club. I almost considered putting Fight Club in the crime movie genre, so I'd put it with Unusual Suspects and Reservoir Dogs, but it doesn't really fit. This lives rent free in my mind. This is probably the most masculine movie that has ever been created because it's about masculinity. I believe written by a gay guy. I believe Chuck Palahniuk, the writer of this story, is a homosexual, which is a bit ironic considering it's like all about masculinity and what disenfranchised men need in their life. American History X. This is jaw dropping. It also lives rent free in my mind, but the final scene in the fucking bathroom, oh my lord, that is some spectacular movie making. The Joker. The Joker is absolutely spectacular. It's profound. It's not We Know drama TNT. It is jaw dropping. I'm putting it in the jaw dropping category just because of the ending. Another movie about disenfranchised young men being purposeless in society and what happens when that happens. Boogie Nights. This lives rent free in my mind in so many ways. Roller Girl being one of them, but also the character whose wife is fucking around all the dudes, and he like walks in and she's just like, get away, I'm fucking this guy, go away. And then he comes back and fucking shoots up the place. Yeah, Boogie Nights, great movie. Roller Girl, watch it. Good Will Hunting. Profound or jaw dropping or teen. This is a hard placement. I want to put this as a profound movie. So I can kind of relate this movie a lot. I'm going to sound like an arrogant prick in saying this, but as I've mentioned, I grew up in a smaller town, and in that small town, I was a bit more intelligent than I would say the average person. And I did not necessarily belong. I did a lot of blue collar work. I worked in a slaughterhouse and a fish farm. I did welding. I did construction. I did a lot of these blue collar jobs, but I also had perfect math scores. So I had the education, the mental chops, as well as the grit of blue collar work. And I did not have to have a blue collar job because I had the mental acuity to get a white collar job and work more on the academic side. I don't know if that was the right move for my life, but it was a move I took. Went into programming and database management and all that kind of shit. This movie is great because it's about a young man who has to make the decision to abandon what he grew up as, abandon the life that was handed to him, and pursue a life that was not handed to him. It's like I don't know what it is. There's very few movies like it. I would imagine some people would equate it. I'm trying to think of a historical figure you could equate it to. Someone who was born with nothing and then became extremely rich and powerful and successful, but I can't really think of one that was truly born with nothing. Like a coal miner who became a mathematician or something special. Can't think of one. It's profound. It's a great movie. Wolf of Wall Street. This movie is TNT drama. Obviously, TNT drama is usually a little more family friendly and work safe, but this one is not. But it's just a long stream of absolutely crazy events. Well made, well acted, well produced, sexy as all hell. The chick, his wife in this movie, oh man, it's great. I love this movie. Great movie. Truman Show. That's going right here. Could be profound. I'm putting it in TNT We Know drama. This movie is great. They build a whole stage, fake this guy's entire life essentially. So he lives an entire fake life, and he's being recorded, and people watching him like a TV show. Basically, he's like the first streamer. There's another movie that came out before it. It's not as good, but it's the same premise, called Ed TV with Matthew McConaughey. I don't have any Matthew McConaughey movies in here. Oh, there's so many to pick from. I should have definitely had a Matthew McConaughey movie in here. But I was just thinking off the top of my head. I didn't do too much research. Just wrote down a list of movies that once I thought of really good movies in my head, they just popped right out. These are the ones that popped right out. The Revenant. For me, this is profound. This is a profound movie about a man's will to survive in a harsh situation. Good movie, good bear scene, good Leonardo DiCaprio action. Lord of War. This movie lives rent free in my mind. This is a spectacular movie. It lives rent free in my mind. I love guns and I love governmental corruption. This kind of ties the two together. This guy becomes a gun dealer and sells ammunition throughout the world and becomes very rich and has to sell it to third world countries. And the process of doing that, extremely good movie. V for Vendetta. Also rent free in my mind. This movie lives rent free in my mind at all times. His V paragraph is probably one of my favorite written scenes in all of the movie, using all the V words. I obviously cannot say it. It is a bit of a tongue twister. But the things that happen in this movie are very reminiscent of what's happening in real life right now. It's almost like a more original movie made version of 1984 about what happens when governments become too tyrannical. And with COVID, I highly recommend anyone who has not watched this movie to watch this movie, especially after the COVID pandemic. This movie brings on a whole nother level of relevancy, and it is absolutely spectacular. Old Country for No Country for Old Men, not Old Country for Old Men. No Country for Old Men. This is a very good movie. This psychopathic killer here is an assassin trying to murder some people, and it just goes through the daily lives of all that. It's a bit jaw-dropping. It's a bit TNT We Know drama. It doesn't quite live rent-free in my head. I think about it from time to time, but it doesn't live rent-free in my head. I am putting it in TNT We Know drama. That's where that's going to go. I think this is just a classic drama. Nothing really stands out about it. There's nothing overtly special about it to put it in something like profound or jaw-dropping or rent-free in my mind or obviously the GOAT. So that is where this is going. I recommend every one of these movies. If you haven't seen any of these movies, you should be able to watch it and have a good time. Now there's some like 7 pounds that might be a little on the cry side. I almost wanted to create a cry movie list where, all the sad movies go that produces tears, but there's 2 levels of tears. There's happy tears and there's sad tears. And, this one obviously goes through the sad, but then there's a pursuit of happiness, which kind of gets both. I was going to put that on here, but I don't want 2 Will Smith movies in this list. So 7 pounds gets my pick for the Will Smith one. You can do I Am Legend or, £7, or I just said it and I've already forgot it. Pursuit of Happiness. Those are all pretty good Will Smith movies. Obviously, this list can be just absolutely massive. I can make it to probably 300 to 400 movies that I could put on this drama list if I really wanted to sit down and analyze every movie that was released since I've been born. Because I don't really watch movies that are older than 1980 something when I was born. Because I don't really, there's so many movies. I don't really want to fuck with those super old movies. I can't really think of any old movies that I've seen from the 70s, 60s, 50s. There's only a tiny amount, a handful. I had to watch Citizen Kane for my movies class. I enjoyed it a little bit. Overhyped. It was a very big deal for what it did when it did it, but it's not that great. I sound like a hipster by saying that. It's great. What other old movies? I think Stand By Me might have come out before I was born. That's a really good movie. I could put on this list, but I chose not to. Other old movies that I have seen. I've seen a couple of Bruce Lee movies that might have been before my time that are okay, but I wouldn't really call those good movies. 12 Angry Men is old. I've seen that one. Casablanca, didn't really like. Anyways, this is my mainstream drama. No crime movies. No weird hipster movies. Nothing like The Lighthouse, which is a great movie, but it's weird, so I'm not putting it on here. I obviously can't put The Fountain on here because that one is also weird, and most people probably fucking hate that movie because they have absolutely no clue what's going on in The Fountain. But I'm also not going to put Magnolia on here or American Beauty. Those are weird movies that kind of hipstery, kind of artsy. I very much enjoy hipster artsy movies, but a lot of people don't, so those aren't on the list. Feel free to shout out anything that you feel should be on here. And that is all for the consumer.